As I became more conscious and I was really needing an outlet, and it was actually suggested by my therapist, you know, because I was an artist, to try and express some of these feelings through my art. I started to put a more conscious effort into it, and in that same week, I think I wrote the whole proposal for the exhibit. It was all in a week. I mean, it was really incredibly fast. I was doing reading, and I was, you know, painting, and I was just all of a sudden like, what could I do with all this potentially very negative and destructive energy? I really wanted to do something where I could focus that energy in a very positive manner. So I just thought, well, I could share it, and I could talk about it, because what the hell, you know, I have nothing to lose by telling people that this happened to me, and I'm kind of tired of being ashamed, and I'm tired of other people having to be ashamed, so this is what I'm going to do. I guess for me, it's just appalling to know the statistics, to know that, you know, according to the Courage to Heal, 1 out of 3 women and 1 out of 7, well, 1 out of 3 women and 1 out of 7 men are sexually abused by the age of 18. So given that scenario, and since those are reported statistics, and you know they're higher in reality, I just think it's appalling that people ignore the issue. You know, I mean, there's a lot of good causes out there, but this probably affects more people than anything else I can imagine. You know, I mean, 1/4 or 1/3 of the population in real numbers. It's not okay. It's not okay to me. And I guess it gets turned around so that breaking the silence is somehow if you're a survivor of child sexual abuse and you talk about it, you're bad. I don't know how this happens. I mean, no one wants to talk about it. That's probably what it is. No one wants to talk about it in our society. So if you talk about it, you remind people about these numbers. You remind people about this horrible thing that happens in every family, regardless of your race or your economic level or your religion or your, you know, what side of the tracks you live on. It doesn't matter. People don't want to know, and I think people ought to know. My art has helped me an incredible amount. I mean, creating the masks that I've done most recently, my anger, my fear, my rage, whatever the mask is capturing, it's going with that piece. You know, it's kind of encapsulated and it's taken away from me, and it's put out there for others to see, and it's like just being okay to say, I'm angry. Art for art's sake is different to me from art that has a social message or a political message. So, and I think it's a little more contemporary, the idea of it, you know. I was reading an article in Utne Reader one day. It was about, you know, just that, art with a purpose. And one of the artists was designing a cart for a bagman, you know, an efficient, self-contained cart that he could store his pop cans in and sleep in at night, you know. And that was his art, you know, and I think that's just as valid as someone painting flowers. Most people, you know, they work in their media and they're good at it and da-da-da, but I get bored in a way because it's like when I work in clay, and then I get a yearning to work in paint, and then I get a yearning to work in sculpture, and, you know, it really, for me, it feeds the different media. Trying to capture simple movements, simple expressions, and from, you know, a woman who's just sitting in a chair reading a book and being comfortable with herself. You know, that is a very simple statement, but it's amazing how important that is to feel that way. Maybe you've never felt that way, and for the first time in your life you feel okay with your body and sitting there and you're reading a book and you're okay, you know. From that to using symbols of moons for healing and balance. The masks tend to capture some of the more solemn feelings, and the paintings tend to capture the brighter, more healing types of feelings. Raku is a Japanese form of firing, and it's quite interesting because you can get amazing metallic effects, you can get black smoky effect, and you lose about a third of your pieces. It's interesting karma. You know, you get the pieces that you were meant to get. I guess that's how I view it. If it wasn't meant to be, if that piece wasn't meant to succeed, then it wasn't meant to be part of this exhibit, and it's better to just go with it. What am I good for is the title of that piece. What's it about? It's hard to talk about. For me personally, it's getting away more from symbolism and saying, you know, these general ideas and getting very specific about what happened to me. The whole idea that, you know, that's it, that's all you're good for, and, you know, it could be that, it could be other things, but the symbol is there too for across the board, the different ways in which people were abused. And it's very hard to be so naked in front of people, but at the same time, that's my wish, is to take the blame off of myself and put the blame back on the person that hurt me as a child. Silent Observers is kind of a family unit, a generic family unit, I guess, that doesn't know what's going on. Well, it's not really that they don't know so much as that they're pushing their eyes shut so that they can't see. Breaking the silence is probably a good one to talk about. The inability to talk, the inability to express yourself, the inability to, you know, your power is taken away, basically. Someone else is controlling you. Someone else clearly put the wire on. Still a hard process for me, you know. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've created all this art, and I still cry, and, you know, it's hard. I don't know if this, I think the pain might go away, but the scars never do. And for some people, the pain never goes away. I mean, a lot is robbed of you, you know, and you have to make up for a lot of lost time.